This is an episode of a series called Dreams of Safety. We've had many apparently unthinkable breaks from normality in the very recent past, and with each one there seemed a great yearning from many people to go back. Why? Some of the reasons may be obvious, but it also seems clear that a simple return is impossible, and in other ways should be undesirable. Are we even sure what we want to go back to? What does safety look like when everyday realities seem to have been ruptured?
Do you want to explain what it is that we're looking at?
So we're looking at a tomato vine and it's not got any tomato on it. Every time I smell the scent of tomato vine, it reminds me of age. It reminds me of morning, breakfast, and the time that we spend together to kind of talk and eat. And often on the plate, there will be a tomato vine. So yeah.
What about that?
Yeah.
I like it this way better, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Just seeing that, I know exactly what he's trying to do. There is a little story about this lamp. H had the lamp since he was in the UK from the very beginning.
This is the very lamp.
And then when I met H and when we were spending time in the UK together, this lamp is always at the bedside table. And yeah, I hope this lamp can come back to the UK with you at some point.
We met when we were at the college. We were a student. Yeah.
Yeah. H was the international student.
Yeah, I think after I finished studying, I spent a couple of months traveling around the UK and Europe, and went back to China. And during this period, during this 2-year period, I think, I coming back and forth from UK to China.
When H was kind of finished studying and he went back to China and then he was doing the traveling. What I wanted to do when I finished studying is to find a way so that we don't have to continue traveling around and being apart and together all the time. And then I was about to begin a new set of projects in the UK, which that I planned. And that was supposed to happen at the beginning of 2020.
I think it was in the end of January, and
yeah, it
I
was
remember
end of New Year.
It was the Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
And we didn't have this lockdown until the end of February, I think. I didn't know there is gonna be like massive pandemic, but I just think, okay, there's no cases in the Europe, there's no cases in the UK, so I may have chance just to go have a holiday and have some time with A, and then go back to China as normal. But I didn't expect after I went to the UK and there is a huge global pandemic where every country are locked down, and so I pretty much stuck in the UK. My original thought was, okay, I might just go back to China for say a couple of months and I can still travel to the UK maybe a couple of months later and continue doing this for years. I still hoped this pandemic will soon end and I can travel. I have this hope for maybe, I would say, 2 years until I have this maybe illusion thought that I can still travel between China and the UK. I literally was trying to apply the visiting visa, but I got refused for twice. You know, it's not my first time to apply this kind of traveling standard visiting visa. For me, it's not my first time. I know it's kind of easy to apply the visa, but this twice refuse is, you know, the reason they gave me is totally nonsense. and that add a lot of stress, a lot of bad energy to me, and it add another weight for me to think I can meet A again, actually. So it was very hard time.
There is this official website made by the Chinese government, which is supposed to be a platform where people can post their questions and receive advice or answers regarding their visa and going abroad. And throughout the pandemic, there are so many people being apart, not just with their partners, but with their families, their child, their parents. It's just crazy looking through those comments and stories, and every single day you see like new comments and new stories. Eventually also you see a pattern. So at the beginning people are so keen, the way that often people ask those questions and post their stories is mellow and nice, and they want to gain empathy from the government so that someone can help them, but then no one really helped them, and then eventually in the middle of it really changed when a lot of people aren't getting the right reply, they're not getting any help. People become very angry. You can directly tell from the comments and the tone of their story. They're just angry. And then eventually you can see the number of comments and new posts going down and down and down every day. People just gave up posting on the platform because there's no real support.
It seems like you met in this specific context where there is a strong exchange between the UK and China, right? There's people traveling between all the time. As students, as visitors, as workers, whatever, right? Going both ways. And that is it seemed like a kind of status quo, like a kind of normal. It seems to me that you have survived as a couple this major change of status quo, where actually these links are kind of breaking down and perhaps disappearing. I think this is a quite interesting position to be in as a couple, that you kind of are between what the old normal and the new normal, and you're trying to work out. Yeah,
I think in a way is absolutely correct. You try to adapt the fact you cannot see each other as you anytime you want. And for me, you have to adapt the time difference. And A is always busy doing work days, and I have to basically change my time of living, my schedule, to adapt when she is going to finish her work, and we could have these little gaps of talking with each other.
H is not a night person, and he had made himself into a night person by staying extra long, extra late. And I am not a morning person, and I have to wake up very early to be able to make the gap. And I just realized this is really interesting. Signal failures is something that stressed me out in the past 2 years. And every single time when I'm having an extreme mental breakdown about our relationship being so apart and we can't do what we want, and there's nothing we can do to be together, it's so frustrating. But on top of that, adding signal failure into the conversation, and when this little time which we can find in our daily life.
Yeah, that is actually a quite interesting part of this signal failure. That we actually change lots of platform, lots of tools
so many
talk
tools,
with
yes.
different, WeChat, Facebook,
Skype, paid phone,
Skype. Yeah, to
WhatsApp.
find out the best way for us talking to each other smoothly, as smooth as possible. And we even find certain platforms, certain tools have this block while we're talking about so-called political stuff.
And also, like, in terms of your hardware of communication, that is very important. And we we researched a lot about like the right earphone, the right mobile phone, even the method your transportation, things around your life. I would rather cycle to work than taking a bus or underground, just because then I can extend my length of chat with H.
I guess it's you want a kind of intimacy, but in this very kind of not unique way, but a new way. So the kind of microphone you have, the kind of earphone, the internet connection becomes that affects how you can feel close to each other.
Could you help me? Could you help me? Come and help me through the Wi-Fi. Come and help me through the Wi-Fi.
Could I hold you through the Wi-Fi? Could I hold you through the Wi-Fi? I heard that lag, uninterrupted stream. Your morning light fingers close the lid on the night as we ebb, we're nearing each other. As we ebb, we're coming together. Could I hold you through the Wi-Fi? Could I hold you through the Wi-Fi?
Do you have a plan for the future, or do you still need to wait and see if the situation changes?
Oh, that's a very good question. I'm so glad that I can answer it because I just got the visa that I can go to the UK. That's a very good news that I just got this week. So both of us are very happy, and my plan is go to the UK on October, where I can finally meet A.
Yeah.
That's brilliant news.
It's a massive news, and I I think it's such a huge, massive, vast news to both of us, and I just feel like in a way I don't really know how to say it, because it's something that you worked so hard for so long, and for us it's been like 2 years and 2 months this month. It just meant everything, and yeah.